Guys, this is it. The XRP case is finally done. And get this, right when this news drops, the whole market is going crazy with Ethereum smashing through $4,000. Seriously, this is exactly what we've been waiting for, and I'm telling you, XRP is about to go absolutely nuts. Plus, we're getting super close to alt season, closer than we've ever been. There's so much to unpack here, so grab your coffee and let's jump right in. First off, let's check out the overall market because things are heating up big time. Bitcoin dominance was tanking earlier too, which is basically screaming that alt season is right around the corner. We're officially in phase 2, Ethereum's time to shine. It's pretty obvious when you see how much ETH is crushing Bitcoin right now, but here's where it gets interesting with XRP. We're supposedly in phase 2, Ethereum's phase, but it sure doesn't feel that way, does it? XRP just pumped 9% in 24 hours. It's up almost 14% this week, and we're sitting pretty at over $3.34. It's absolutely wild to watch. But here's what's really wild. We're still riding those classic cycle waves perfectly. All this XRP madness we're watching, it's like XRP is saying, remember 2021 when I got left behind? Yeah, not happening again. We basically sat out the party last time, so now we're about to throw the biggest rager crypto has ever seen. I mean, look at where XRP is already sitting price-wise and how it's been absolutely destroying it this cycle. Once alt season really kicks into high gear, dude, we're talking next level insanity. XRP is flexing hard right now. Trading volume just exploded 150% in one day. One day. This daily chart is giving me chills. 14% this week, 40% plus this month. And brace yourself, nearly 500% for the entire year. The chart looks like it's having a breakdown in the best possible way. And here's a fun fact. When you strip away all the stablecoin noise, XRP is literally breathing down Ethereum's neck for trading volume. We're talking third place in the entire crypto universe. That's not luck, that's XRP finally showing everyone what it's made of. But check this out, $11.6 billion in volume is absolutely massive, even compared to something like USDC. XRP is basically acting like a stablecoin at this point, and we all know stablecoins are the lifeblood of crypto. They are the liquidity that keeps everything flowing. So when XRP's trading volume goes ballistic like this, it's basically screaming one thing. People are losing their minds over this case finally wrapping up. We'll dive into that drama in a hot minute, but first, feast your eyes on the daily's got its own personality going on. We could sketch this breakout a bunch of different ways, but the bottom line, we just crushed through and reclaimed that monster $3.28 level. If you weren't paying attention back in January, that was our brick wall resistance zone. We've officially smashed through that ceiling, and now we're eyeing up the next big prize. The 3-day chart is telling us $3.50 is in our crosshairs. The daily's being a bit more generous. It's around $3.56. But here's the magic number. Once we flip $3.60 and hold it, XRP is going to absolutely lose its mind in the best way possible. This whole move is looking absolutely beautiful right now. The price action is just chef's kiss, pure perfection. And for those of you who caught yesterday's breakdown, I was laser focused on those price charts, hunting for one thing, higher highs on XRP. And guess what? On this shorter time frame, we've got this gorgeous uptrend locked and loaded. We're hugging that trend line like it's our best friend. Looks absolutely bulletproof. Check it out. We've got our rock bottom low, then these perfect higher lows stepping up like stairs. But the real magic trick was smashing through those highs. See this peak and this major one over here? Boom. We just printed a higher high and XRP's chart is screaming bull market at the top of its lungs. This structure is so bullish, it's almost unfair. And here's the mind-blowing part. When we zoom out to that 3-day view, even when XRP took that scary dive down to around $2.71 after losing the $3 handle, it bounced right off major support like a trampoline. The wildest thing, everyone and their grandma was calling for lower prices while the entire market was going absolutely bonkers bullish. I'm beyond stoked with how XRP just refused to break. And now for the news we've all been waiting for. The SEC and Ripple just kissed and made up, both sides dropping their appeals. We've been holding our breath for this moment forever. 5 years, people. 5 years we've been sitting in this waiting room, twiddling our thumbs. I've been hammering this point for weeks now because it's been over a month since Ripple basically said, we're out, and dropped their appeal. We were all just sitting here like, okay, your turn, SEC. And honestly, Deep down, we all knew this thing was already dead in the water. I mean, come on. Who actually thought this drama was going to keep dragging on? The biggest clue that this case was toast? Everything Ripple's been doing this year. They went on this crazy shopping spree. Remember Hidden Road back in April? You don't drop that kind of cash on acquisitions when you're still worried about getting slapped by regulators. And the whole time, we kept hearing whispers about ETF possibilities, what's coming next for Ripple, all this future planning stuff. Ripple straight up said they're in full-on acquisition mode. They want to gobble up companies left and right to build this massive infrastructure empire. It was like watching someone renovate their house while supposedly waiting to hear if they're getting evicted. The writing was on the wall. And now with this new crypto-friendly SEC that's all about let's make America the innovation capital, it totally makes sense. They'd be like, you know what? Forget it. Let's wrap this up and get the party started. This update has me absolutely buzzing. After 5 long years, it's finally here. I still remember when that first big case update dropped, it caught everyone completely off guard. But here's what blew my mind. Even during the next 12 months of legal chaos, XRP didn't just roll over and die. I mean, sure, it wasn't smooth sailing, but let's rewind the clock for a hot second. Coming off those brutal COVID lows, XRP still managed to pull off this absolutely bonkers run. We're talking roughly 1,300% gains. And if you caught the very bottom, try 1,700%. This was during the darkest timeline for XRP, getting kicked off practically every major exchange, everyone treating it like crypto kryptonite. The negative vibes around XRP were so thick you could cut them with a knife. Exchanges were running for the hills, people were doom scrolling, the whole 9 yards. So if XRP could pull off those kinds of moves while basically being crypto's most wanted fugitive, imagine what happens now. The case is wrapped up with a nice little bow, the handcuffs are off, and we're about to see what this beast can really do when it's not fighting with one hand tied behind its back. This is going to be absolutely wild for everyone holding, and honestly, I could dive way deeper into this rabbit hole, but I'm already running out of time in this video. We might need to save this deep dive for its own dedicated video, but get this. Ripple just swooped in and grabbed Rail Financial. And the timing? Literally 1 day before they announced this whole case was done. Talk about perfect timing. This acquisition is absolutely massive because Rail Financial isn't some tiny startup. They're heavyweight champions. Like I said, I'm itching to go full nerd mode on this, but it's probably going to get its own video because there's just so much to unpack here. I don't want to give you some half-baked breakdown where I'm just like, yeah, this is huge because reasons. Now, I want to dig into the actual numbers and stats behind this monster move, but here's a little teaser. Monica Long, Ripple's president, dropped this gem. Stablecoin payments are everywhere for good reason. When we met the Rail Financial team, we knew their product capabilities would complement what Ripple Payments already offers together. We're taking the complexity out of stablecoin-based payments for any financial institution's needs. We'll have capabilities such as stablecoin pay-ins and payouts, including USD, without requiring customers to hold crypto or manage wallet counts themselves. Not to mention a broad and deep global network, market liquidity, and more. Welcome, Rail. Welcome, Rail. This is straight up genius for Ripple's whole Internet of Value vision, making money move around the world as smoothly as sending a text message. And it's the perfect puzzle piece for everything they've been building these past few months with RLUSD, XRP, and their whole tokenization game plan. Brad Garlinghouse wasn't kidding when he said, no such thing as August doldrums at Ripple. Dude's out here dropping bombshells. Very excited to share we're acquiring Rail Financial. Ripple plus Rail together will be the go-to provider of stablecoin payments infrastructure for global financial institutions around the world. This is massive news, people. And speaking of massive, let's talk RLUSD numbers because they're looking pretty juicy. We're seeing $61 million in volume over the last 24 hours with a total supply sitting at $620 million. The growth has been absolutely insane. Let me pull up RWA.xyz real quick. RLUSD is up 24% in the last 30 days alone, with monthly transfer volume hitting $3.25 billion, up 15.4%. And this acquisition, it's about to send these numbers into orbit. Check out what Rail just dropped. Big news! Rail is joining Ripple, a huge milestone in our mission to build trusted enterprise-grade infrastructure for global payments. We power 10% of all B2B stablecoin volume. Now, with Ripple's backing, we're scaling even faster. Hold up, did you catch that? 10% of all business-to-business stablecoin volume. We're talking mind-blowing amounts of money here. This acquisition is absolutely bonkers. Honestly, it's on the same level as that Hidden Road deal we talked about before. Get this. Rail processes $3 trillion per year and works with 300 plus top financial institutions. These aren't just acquisitions, they're strategic power moves that perfectly complement everything Ripple's building. We're talking RLUSD getting supercharged, XRP getting more utility, XRPL becoming even more dominant, tokenization going mainstream, the whole 9 yards. This is Ripple's sweet spot, institutional DeFi and mass adoption. That's literally their bread and butter. And the timing, the case wraps up and boom, these massive announcements start flying. This isn't coincidence, this is Ripple Unleashed. Here's why this timing is absolutely brilliant. Like I said earlier, we basically knew this case was done the moment Ripple started going on their acquisition spree. But here's the real kicker. Ripple was so confident this thing was wrapping up that they had the guts to go after these massive institutional heavyweights. And now, all those big institutional players who were sitting on the sidelines, scared to touch anything Ripple related because of the SEC drama, are going to take one look at this cleared up legal situation and think, okay, coast is clear, let's dive in. This is going to absolutely ignite RLUSD adoption and send tokenization use cases on the XRP ledger through the roof. Speaking of which, check this out. The XRP ledger already has $180 million locked up, and that's up 51 plus just in the last 30 days. The stablecoin market up 49% in the same time frame. We've already got 3 stablecoins hooked up to Ripple and XRP. But here's the crazy part. Ripple already announced there's going to be 5 or 6 total. The ecosystem is about to explode. Think about those 1,700 NDAs floating around. Think about all those institutional players we've been tracking for years who are now part of the Ripple family thanks to the Medico acquisition. Everything is literally clicking into place like the world's most expensive jigsaw puzzle. I am beyond pumped about all of this. And we absolutely cannot ignore how massive this is for XRP. From this moment forward, XRP just became 10 times more bullish than it was yesterday. Actually, scratch that, 10 times might be selling it short. Today is absolutely huge for XRP. We're talking historical, landmark, mark your calendars kind of day.